What black community? It's a black environment with black women and black children in it.
We are absolutely winning right now. Absolutely. We have done more than change the conversation. We changed the balance of power in the federal government.
I want what you white hoes get, and I want it today, ASAP, not tomorrow.
A motherfucker just supposed to take and accept whatever the fuck you say, because I'm a black woman. Bitch, shut up. The fuck out of here.
These blacks.
Rage on that beat, going crazy.
Corinne Pierre, the White House press secretary, I'm going to get that ass. I know she got a snow bunny, but I'm going to get that ass. You little fine, brown, little sexy, bougie ass, cooning ass White House secretary, I'm going to get your little ass. She going to run into me one day. Oh, yes, brothers and my Haitian Africans, I'm bringing Corinne Pierre back to the Haitian community. Corinne, you can run with that snow bunny, but you can't hide. And once you get this King Kongalicious, once Corinne Pierre get this King Kongalicious, she gonna forget all about that snow bunny. I'm gonna get that little sexy Haitian. Oh, yes, I'm gonna get that ass. Oh, yes, I am. I take that all back because that.
You know, for a minute, I was kind of worried for Corinne Jean-Pierre. I mean, not that I care, but at the same time, what were you going to do with her? Like, that got it started to sound very toxic, dare I say. Like, what plans do you have with this woman? And why do you keep ringing the Undertaker bell? Like, every time you say, I'm going to get that ass, dong. That little Haitian chocolate drop. Dong. I'm going to melt me some chocolate. Dong. Nigga, what the fuck? What plans do you have with this woman?
Corinne Pierre, the White House press secretary, I'm going to get that ass. I know she got a snow bunny, but I'm going to get that ass. You little fine, brown, little sexy, bougie ass, cooning ass White House secretary, I'm going to get your little ass. She going to run into me one day. Oh, yes, brothers and my Haitian Africans, I'm bringing Corinne Pierre back to the Haitian community. Corinne, you can run with that snow bunny, but you can't hide. And once you get this King Kongalicious, once Corinne Pierre get this King Kongalicious, she gonna forget all about that snow bunny. I'm gonna get that little sexy Haitian. Oh, yes, I'm gonna get that.
What you gonna do after you get her, Doc? I mean, like, what are you gonna do? Because you're not, you're not known for marrying women and putting them up in houses. You aren't Cam Newton. You aren't Nick Cannon. For all the shit you talk about Nick Cannon or Cam Newton or whatever, they put women in houses, bro. What you gonna do with KJP? You got a house for her? You got a Pan-African castle for her to live in?
Oh, yes, I am. I take that all back because that could be a matter of national security. There might be a law against me talking about smashing the White House press secretary. So I take that back. You broke.
And you now you like a punk ass nigga too. You gonna let the white man tell you can't holler at this black woman? You gonna let Joe Biden tell you can't push up on this Haitian chocolate drop? You bitch ass nigga. You Prince of Pan bitch niggaism. You are the Prince of Pan bitch niggaism. I can't believe you just did that. Can't believe you just did that. That was a mean head fake.
I'ma get that ass. Oh, yes, I am. I take that all back because that could be a matter of national security. There might be a law against me talking about smashing the White House press secretary.
Joe Biden said he can't hit that. Joe Biden said the Prince of Pan-Africanism can't get those Haitian draws. No Haitian cakes for you.
This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
Bitch niggaism. He is the Prince of Pan bitch niggaism. You gonna let Joe Biden punk you off of some Haitian box? Oh, nigga, I would never.
So I take that back. You broke my heart when I found out you was bunny hopping. Corinne Pierre, you broke my heart when I found out you had a damn snow bunny. What the hell you doing bunny hopping? Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
This is why you can't trust these pro-black niggas, because secretly they put poon over everything. They give the power to the poon, and they will crucify, they will ostracize, they will just straight up kick a nigga out the whip if he talks mean about the poon, if he says unkind things about the poon, if he makes the poon uncomfortable, if he scares the hoes. You know, they will sacrifice a nigga to keep from scaring the hoes, bro. It's terrible. And this is kind of all a part of a theme we're going to talk about today. If you noticed, I didn't really have much build up for today's show. I kind of hit the stream button and jumped right into it. Because we got to jump right into this shit. You know, let the late people catch up at their own leisure. We're going to jump right into this, man. You can't say that about a woman. Hashtag Jesse Waters. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? You guys know what this Jesse Waters drama is referring to right now? Jesse Waters is, I guess now that Tucker Carlson's gone, there's maybe a tie between who's the top white guy at Fox News. It's either Jesse or Greg Gutfeld. And I think Jesse, you know, he might be a little younger. I don't know if he is younger. He looks a bit younger, and he's like a little bit more like telegenic, whatever. He looks better on TV. I think Jesse is vying to be the number one guy, the number one white man at Fox News. And it's a hard fight. You know, it's a hard fight. If you want to be the number one white man at Fox News, Tucker Carlson was unafraid of pissing black women off. And you got to make some hoes mad. If you want to be the number one white man on Fox News, you have to be willing to make hoes mad. And big, extreme, uber, super duper props to Tucker Carlson, because, you know, he was unafraid of making the hoes mad. And Jesse is now trying to step into those shoes. Jesse Water. Yesterday, Jesse Water, was it yesterday? I think it was just yesterday. He really made the hoes mad, and it was incredible. It was a moment. I gotta tell you, it was a good moment. Shout out to Jesse and all the hoes mad.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
All right, we're going to jump straight into Roland Martin Unfiltered. He is the maddest hoe of them all, I suppose, because the look on Roro's face, Roro just got a look on his face, bro. I tell you, you ain't never seen a hoe so mad like Roro mad. You ain't never ever seen a host so mad like Roro mad. Let me tell you.
I've told y'all on numerous occasions how Fox News is absolute trash. And one of the most despicable individuals there is Jesse Waters. This is what this sexist asshole actually said yesterday. Listen to this crap.
Well, before we even get into that, because I have so many tangential thoughts branching off of this one incident, because it does kind of encapsulate the male conundrum with women in the workplace and socializing with women in the modern era. I remember years ago, I was and I saw this clip of C-SPAN. It's a very, very funny clip. On C-SPAN, I forget who was the guest. It was some woman, some broad, and an old white guy called up to the show, and this old white guy, he was lamenting the era of women in the workplace, and he began to like describe his complaints in a really interesting way. He was like, first you let the women in, and you got to put, you say you got to bring flowers in there. You got to change the way everybody talks. You got to act all fake nice to the women. He was really giving like anecdotal complaints, but at the same time, he was making a point that it changes. You want to change the fundamental way that men socialize with each other for no other reason than making women feel better. And then we have to change the entire workplace to make women feel better. If women don't feel comfortable in the workplace has to change. Whereas for most of male existence, right? As a man, if you don't feel comfortable in your workplace, you have two options. Get a new job or shut the fuck up. And there weren't always options to get another job, right? Shutting up was your option 1 and 2. And most men did that. But when women come into the workplace, there is no complaint that goes unaddressed, and it becomes a thing you notice as a man.
It's been 3 years since Kamala boasted about being the, quote, last person in the room when Joe Biden decided to go ahead with the Afghanistan withdrawal. Jesse, people consider you to be the last person in the room because that's because everybody keeps trying to ditch you.
Yeah, they just left. Right. But you understand the reference, Greg.
Yes.
Is that she was somehow involved in the decision, and it was her wise guidance that he was relying upon. Listen, she was the last in the room in Afghanistan. She was the border czar, and she was the deciding vote on trillions of inflationary spending. On those 3 most popular Joe Biden items, she's basically like a conjoined twin. You cannot separate the two. And let's talk about foreign policy. What is her foreign policy? And this is where the president has his most impact. You have a lot of room to maneuver there as commander in chief. We don't know who she is. We don't know what she believes. She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her. Right now,
She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her. There's a woman out there who heard that and her left nipple got hard. There's at least one woman who heard that out loud and a little shiver went down her spine. A good shiver, though, like a butterfly shiver, went down her spine. Most of the women are upset, though. Most of the women heard that and they were like, a million pearls clutched instantaneously.
Guidance that he was relying upon. Listen, she was the last in the room in Afghanistan. She was the border czar, and she was the deciding vote on trillions of inflationary spending. On those three most popular Joe Biden items, she's basically like a conjoined twin. You cannot separate the two. And let's talk about foreign policy. What is her foreign policy? And this is where the president has his most impact. You have a lot of room to maneuver there as commander in chief. We don't know who she is. We don't know what she believes. She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her. Right now,
Jesse Waters.
Jesse, I don't like that. Figuratively,
Take
again,
it back.
have their way with her.
Right here, right in this moment, this is where even allegedly right-wing conservative women reveal their innate feminism. Because feminism at its core, at its spiritual core, at its spiritual nucleus, feminism revolves around innate female nature, the feelings that are innate to the feminine spirit. And this way of talking about women as if you can't do something, it offends women to their core, because women, no matter how much they frame things as, I can do what men do, I can compete with a man, I'm just as good as a man, I'm better than men. Women flat out say they're better than men. As much as they say that, it burns them up. It hurts their feelings even to say that, no, you are not better than a man. And in fact, this is a really indelicate reality, but let me just say this indelicate thing as delicately as I can possibly manage, right? Most women, if alone in a room with most men, just one-on-one, your average woman alone in a room with your average man, you cannot stop that man. Now, I'm not going to say stop him from what? Maybe he just wanted a Snickers bar. I don't know. I'm just saying, for your average woman alone in a room with your average man, you cannot stop that man.
Spending on those three most popular Joe Biden items, she's basically like a conjoined twin. You cannot separate the two. And let's talk about foreign policy. What is her foreign policy? And this is where the president has his most impact. You have a lot of room to maneuver there as commander in chief. We don't know who she is. We don't know what she believes. She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her. Right now,
Jesse Waters.
Jesse, I don't
Take
like
it
that.
back.
Figuratively,
Take
again,
it back.
have their way with her. Control her, not in a sexual way.
Either way is equally offensive, because either way it speaks to a core reality of this modern false equality construct that we all try to live under. Through the sheer force of their will, I mean, a group of men can argue a woman down. If we were to remove all of the modern niceties and all of our current social grace, and you can't talk to a woman like that, that's a female. If we remove all of these social niceties, if we were to operate like some Arabian tribe, this wouldn't even be a point of contention. And it's a basic, simple concept, right? Might may not make right, but it does make the rules. And then women, because women have a natural physical disparity with men, they have a natural disparity in the application of might. They do kind of fundamentally resent the fact that might makes the rules, whether or not it's right or not. Women have this morality system that they believe in, and it doesn't require strength per se. Whereas the male morality system, it has to include the element of strength, because it doesn't matter how strong you are. I mean, it doesn't matter how right you are if you're not strong enough to defend your position. It doesn't matter how noble you are. It doesn't matter how beautiful you are. It doesn't matter how kind and warm your heart is. If you're not strong enough to defend your position, you will be killed. You will die, and other men will take your position and make their own rules. Okay, may not be right, but it does make the rules. And so putting women in positions of leadership and then restricting men from even being able to dabble in these simple concepts, it is a very handicapping concept. We are all tarded for this. It's making us all more tarded. We get tardy every day.
Last in the room in Afghanistan, she was the border czar, and she was the deciding vote on trillions of inflationary spending. On those three most popular Joe Biden items, she's basically like a conjoined twin. You cannot separate the two. And let's talk about foreign policy. What is her foreign policy? And this is where the president has his most impact. You have a lot of room to maneuver there as commander in chief. We don't know who she is. We don't know what she believes. She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her. Right now,
Jesse Waters. Jesse, I don't like that.
Figuratively,
Take
again,
it back.
have their way with her, control her, not in a sexual way.
So Jeanine Pirro.
Hold on.
Jesse.
Hold on, Roro. Hold on, Roro. Because that pause, that face, and he held that face for a minute too. That is Roland's hose mad face right there. That is a hose mad face if there ever was one. God damn. Look at this nigga. Look at this nigga. He is personally offended. That nigga got sand in his vagina right now.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology when my life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
You are not supposed to be this disgusted at sexism jokes, bro. And this is what kills me. And black men kind of lead the charge. Black men are the bleeding edge of like modern social cuckoldry, I guess you can call it. Even though white guys are actual physical sexual cucks, they lead the world in that shit. When it comes to just like cucking on a social, like mental cucking, that black men are the bleeding edge of mental cuckery.
So Jeanine Pirro, Jesse, take it back. Dana says, Harold Ford says nothing. And then at the end there, this little, oh, I didn't mean it in a sexual way, this little smile. Oh, yes, you did. And you know what? Suzanne Scott, the CEO of Fox News, won't rebuke him, won't call him out, won't admonish him, won't take him off the air. This is the kind of stuff they encourage. Nola, here's what everybody needs to understand.
This is another thing I come to understand. The sexism game is a one-directional game. It is a one-way street, and we die at the end of this block. Like, there is no... All right, put it this way. When was the last time a woman was accused of saying something offensive to men broadly and being punished for it by like her company, her employer. She lost some jobs. She got fired from her film set or whatever. When was the last time a woman said something egregious to men or about men and it actually cost her? Like Amber Heard is probably the most notable example of a man getting a win over a woman. And that's not even really the criteria I'm talking about, because she accused him of doing some shit and he had to fight back. That was all self-defense, right? But and still, they're talking about putting Amber Heard in some new movie coming up. They want to make her, like, I forget what movie it was. I just read it like yesterday. They still don't want to like ban her from anything, right? Because, you know, she's still pretty. The bitch is crazy and she'll shit in your bed. And I mean, I would I let Amber Heard shit in my bed if I can have like one night with her? Like, not even a whole night. Just like, give me 3 hours and you can go home. I send you an Uber. Would I let Amber Heard shit in my bed? Like, at the end of it all, because you can't shit first. But, like, at the end of it all, like, after I had all of my way with you and I'd done all the things I planned to do with you, and she just took a shit in my bed and then just got in an Uber and I never saw her again, would that be worth it? This is a serious question. This is a serious question, all right? I'm laying this on the table here. I need the gentleman to give me some guidance on this, man. I need Gulag guidance on that, because Amber Heard is like, she's still kind of a good looking girl. Like I would plug Amber, but I would be afraid that like there would be a turd in a weird random place in my house. Like I reach into like a winter coat pocket and there'd be like a turd. Not even on the outside, like on the inside pocket of a winter coat, there'd just be like a turd sitting there, just inconspicuously, just high. Like, I would love to smash Amber, but then I'd be afraid of finding a turd in a weird place. Like, but is it worth it though? That's really the question though, because she's still a bad white girl. She is still a bad white girl, bro. This is all I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. Like, you could do all the nasty things that you wanted to do with any woman. You know, you can bring all the lube. You can use all the devices. But you might put on like a fresh pair of J's and there's like a turd in there one day. Like, that's the price though. And so you mean to tell me none of you niggas is going? You mean to tell me none of you niggas is going? You gonna let one little turd scare you off of that, bro? Come on, man. Come on, man. You gonna tell me? You mean to tell me you gonna let one little shit gonna fuck that whole night up for you, bro? It's just I mean, cause that all bitches shit, bro. Everybody poops, bro. They didn't teach you that in elementary school. Everybody poops. You gonna let one little poop keep you away from a bad bitch? Like, come on, bro. Hey, Andre, it doesn't have to be the bed. It could be anywhere. That's why I said it'll be a random place. You might just sit down in your car to drive to work one morning and splat. Like, you never know. You never know. She'll leave it. It's a random placement. Random turd placement. That's the deal. You can have Amber Heard, but you get one random turd placement after the fact, all right? And it has to happen immediately, so it's still moist, but you get a random turd placement after the fact. Is it worth it? That's the only question I'm asking, because I have a hard time believing you niggas won't be going. Knowing everything you still know, somebody's going. That's all I'm saying. Somebody's going. Look, Friezo said I couldn't do a little vomit. I'm good. Oh, look. Hey, what if it was years later? What if it was like 18 months later and it was just random? Just 18 months later, you went to lay on your couch and you laid down. It was like, what the fuck is that smell? Like, what if it was like that? I mean, because, you know, Amber Heard, like, she's a good looking woman. Like, I mean, come on. Like, not a lot of women are really good looking like that. This is like, you know, high level shit. It's all I'm just saying. It's a thought. Johnny Depp, I bet you Johnny Depp was like, you know what? If she'd have put that anywhere other than my bed, I could have forgave the bitch. Like even Johnny Depp, I know Johnny Depp. If she'd have did that shit anywhere other than the bed, he'd have been willing to walk it off, bro. But the bed is like an intimate, it's like a personal thing. It's like, you know, this is where I lay my head. It's where I feel my safest. You know, I lay here naked from time to time. Like, it's too personal, right? If she'd have done that shit anywhere other than the bed, he would have took her back, bro. I promise you, he would have took her back. Anyway, we got off on a weird, shitty subject. I don't know why I let myself do that. I've been trying to be better, but obviously I can't. Self-improvement, I hit a cap on self-improvement, I think. I don't know if I get any better than this right here. But let's get back to the show now.
This ain't even September yet. You're going to see far more sexist, misogynistic, and yes, racist attacks on Vice President Kamala Harris the closer we get to the election. It's going to happen on Fox News. It's going to be on social. It's going to be on other conservative platforms. It is going to happen.
Yes.
You know, this is another thing, real quick. I think from a strategic level, the Democrats don't even believe in the power of women. They believe in the power of sexism as an attack. And so it doesn't matter if a woman's effective. It's actually better if she's slightly ineffective, if she's slightly incompetent, because every little thing she does will get overblown criticism. And then you can take that overblown criticism and be like, aha, these guys are sexist, they're evil, they're bad, and we should punish them. And that's how you get votes.
It will happen. And I needed to take a deep breath because I am so bothered by that clip. I am bothered by that clip as a Black woman in foreign policy who knows generals, who sits at tables with them, and to portray them as if,
oh my God, we're all gonna die. Our generals be at tables with Black women, we're fucking dead. Jesus Christ. I'm just gonna enjoy the last days. Like I've resolved. I've come to a point of resolve. Let's put it that way. I know the end is near. It's going to be dark and it's going to be ugly, but I'm going to enjoy it, goddammit. I'm going to find some way to enjoy this shit.
that somehow they wouldn't
Hit
listen
that like button
to
for
the
me, y'all.
commander in chief. You know, to have some sort of sexual innuendo and then giggle about it is also insinuating that somehow the generals will do what to her if she's the last person in the room. Okay, so it's problematic from the positionality of them making a joke about it, talking about her.
The men who are charged with defending our country, the men whose primary task it is to kill other men in the defense of our country, in the expansion of our country's willpower. These men aren't allowed to make jokes that make girls uncomfortable. If the men who kill for us can't make hoes mad, those men are going to turn on us. Either those men are going to turn on us or those men can't fight.
Her being the last person in the room, and then also making generals seem like they are sexist and they will do some sort of harm or sexual violence to VP. That's what my ears hear as a woman. Okay, so that's the first part. The second part is regarding Afghanistan. I've been talking a lot about this because, you know, the Afghanistan case means a great deal to me. I worked on that mission for 2 years after the withdrawal. And what I've been trying to remind people of.
She made sure to point out it was after the withdrawal. You work with the generals, but after the biggest, latest fuck up, right? That latest thing, that horrible thing that they did recently. No. I didn't start talking to them until after that. That was all of them. All the cool stuff they're doing now, that's me.
Is how we got to where we are in the first place. While they were sitting there making gross, violent, sexual jokes, because that's how I interpreted it, they didn't say anything about the Doha Agreement. They didn't mention anything about what we gave up in that deal in turn for no terrorism. And let me sit here and tell the American people right now, there are 24 terrorist organizations operating in Afghanistan sitting here today as we speak, not because of President Biden and
I don't think Black Americans really care about the war on terror. I mean, theoretically we do, but practically we don't. It's not a real thing to us.
VP Harris. It's because of the Trump administration. And I'm not saying that to be divisive. I am saying that as a policy person. I am saying that as a person who was once a global terrorism expert. This is my wheelhouse. So for them to give, their viewers and their watchers part of the story, which is what they do, and then to laugh and joke about generals not, respecting her and, possibly wanting to do some.
I'm not saying she's a liar. I'm not saying I don't believe her. But it is hard to believe that she is a good global terrorism expert. Like, she may be a global terrorism expert, like that's her official title, so it's not incorrect to say that about her. But if she's a global terrorism expert, that's not what I expect to see when I picture global terrorism expert, right? And I don't necessarily picture James Bond. I don't picture Daniel Craig in my mind when I think global terrorism expert. But he is number 3 or 4 on the list, right? Honestly, I picture somebody, not literally, but you ever seen John Bolton? You guys know who John Bolton is. He's a government official. He's worked in several administrations. I think he's an actual global terrorism expert, technically. That's the face I see, right? And I'm not even saying he's great at his job either, by the way. But when I think global terrorism expert, I think of a face like John Bolton, right? Her face isn't really the face that I picture. You know what, Free Zone Lou, I see what you did there, and you know what? Golf clap to you, sir. I see what you did there. Yes, yeah. He says, Hood, I'm surprised you wouldn't consider Black women in general to be global terrorism experts, but I don't consider them terrorism experts. It's like they're like terrorism juveniles, Black women have immense power, and I'm thankful they're not smarter at their game. Black women have so much power, and I'm thankful at their lack of ability, actually. Honestly, their lack of ability is the only reason that Black men have even been able to mount any kind of pushback, and we can have a manosphere and all that. Hell, look at all the guys who've fallen by the wayside, right? Shout out to Obsidian, man. Obsidian is planting a flag over on Rumble right now. These bitches mean business, bro, but they're not all good at it. They're actually not that great at it. So it's like, you can fight back, you can win. You just have to think about how to fight back, because they're not experts. They're just juveniles.
Sort of sexual harm to her. The way in which they created that visual for their viewing audience not only made her inept, made her ineffective, but then you just completely demeaned her and took away all of her agency, all of her strength and intellect. And while I know that's going to continue, Roland, until to the election and beyond, that right there was a different level of growth. And I really hope somebody at the Pentagon Fox News and let them know that was not okay, because it wasn't.
And see, what this does is...
Did you say contact somebody at the Pentagon? Hold on. Let me go back a few minutes. A few seconds.
Somebody at the Pentagon and beyond, that right there was a different level of growth. And I really hope somebody at the Pentagon Fox News and let them know that was not okay, because it wasn't.
And more reason why men really, really dislike not just working with women, generally speaking. It's not always terrible, but there's this kind of attitude of, I have to punish you. And I don't know that working with men, you get that same reflexive punishment that you do working with women. This is the whole female boss phenomenon, where it's like women, I've heard many complaints from women about how they don't like working with women because women bosses, they don't like working for women, rather, because a woman boss, they have erratic standards. They punish you arbitrarily. They do all kinds of shit that's not necessarily by the book, and it's like you really can't say nothing because she's a woman. Like it's not really just me at this point.
And see what this does is what this does, Larry. It contributes to this notion that a woman cannot sit at the table, which is pretty stupid because you've got a woman vice president.
It's not even about whether a woman can sit at the table. I mean, and obviously I've given my opinion on that, but I think the more pertinent question, and this is the question that they avoid, it's like they force you to accept this without even making it a question, but why should men want women at the table? I think that is the real heart of the issue. It's not just a matter of will she be good at it. We don't even know if she'll be good at it because historically there is no precedent for that, right? But then why would I want you there? It's not that I don't want you as a woman, but there's just things I don't want you for and things I do want you for. Why would I want you at the quote leadership table, the decision-making table? Like, explain that to me. Assume that I'm not a raving sexist. Assume that I'm not I'm not an unforgivable misogynist, right? Just try to answer that question objectively. Why should I want her there?
We've had multiple women secretaries of state who have been in the Situation Room, who have been at the table. You've got women governors who have overseen the National Guard. But this is the kind of sexist, ridiculous stuff that happens in this country. And this goes to also show you why this nation has yet to elect a female president.
It's just a very important point.
I resent this notion that electing a woman is somehow a marker of our moral standing, our moral failure at that. Like, it automatically denotes a level of female priority, female supremacy even. Like, we are bad, we are less than, we are not living up to some kind of pre-established potential because we haven't had a female president. Like, where was it written that we have to have a female president in order to be judged well?
And we should highlight that, various nations throughout the country, Liberia, Germany, UK, currently Barbados, among others, have had women as leaders of the government. So the United States, as you noted, is behind the majority of other countries in the world. And that's because of sexism. Let's just call it for what it is. Also, as you played that clip, Roland, let's refresh the memories of those who are watching. That's a cultural issue with Fox, because they have a cultural problem with sexual harassment.
Yep.
O'Reilly was fired. They had several lawsuits. They had to file.
Oh my God! Bill O'Reilly, Eric Bolling, God.
This is another issue too. All a woman has to do is make an accusation, right? If you are a multi-billion-dollar transnational corporation, especially if you're a media corporation, that's even worse. If you just make widgets and gadgets, it might be better. You can probably write it out maybe. But if you work for like a high-profile company, All a woman has to do is point a finger, because it's cheaper to get rid of you. And it's not even about right or wrong. It's not even about your guilt or your innocence. It just comes down to time and money. It'll be more efficient. I'll spend less time and less money resolving this issue by just getting rid of you. She doesn't have anybody to point a finger at. You're gone. She's gone. It cost me a little bit of money, and we're back on track. Why would I want that?
I used to be at CNN. It was just on the tip of my Ed Henry. I mean, we can go off air people as well. A whole lot of folks. They had to pay out a lot of money for sexual harassment at Fox News.
Yeah, so this is a cultural problem that they need to address, and as Nola noted, this is going to accelerate the closer we.
It's ironic, black media claiming Fox News has a problem of cultural sexism, because black media technically is some of the most sexist media that we're allowed to promote. If you think about hip hop. If you think about the lyrics of even male R&B singers, it's all objectification. It's all sexual gratification. It's all, I buy you this and you do this to me. It's promoted insanely at the same time. It's a very unspoken hypocrisy.
To the election. And unfortunately, black women always don't have faced the brunt of this, whether it's in this, on TV, or corporate America, or in higher education. Let's be honest, wherever sisters are and wherever they excel, there are often those, particularly white males, who struggle to adapt because their beliefs are rooted in these ideas about sexist ideas about what women can and can't do. So we need to continue on this platform to call it out for what it is, and then said it's sexism. And we won't have anyone talking about the VP like that.
Yeah, and it plays.
Really talking about Putins of the world, Roland. That's who he's really talking about. He's talking about those so-called strong men of the world. That's what he really wanted to say, but was too cowardly to say.
What is the problem in mentioning the so-called strong men of the world? I mean, for one, you're denying their strength, which is, ironic coming from this global terrorism expert, right? Funny. Two, it's not about their personal physical strength, right? That's not the point. It's the strength of their resolve and the potential of their military capabilities. The combination of those two things are the heart of geopolitics right there. What type of leader are you dealing with, and what is he actually capable of doing?
Again, Mustafa, if you're a man sitting at that table, you immediately check that fool for that kind of crap.
Why though? And black men are the only men who just commonly, casually believe that as a man, you should check another man because he made a girl upset, because he made hoes mad. Black men are the only men who will fight you. They will fucking fight you because hoes mad. Ro will fight you because you made hoes mad.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me because I didn't get a single apology when my life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
Hit that like button for me, y'all. Hit that like button. Like, share, and subscribe. Support the show, y'all. You know what? I keep forgetting. I be forgetting to beg for money sometime. The Cash App address is now scrolling at the bottom. Please support the show. Throw $1 in the hat. We are not even done yet. This is what we're talking about today. Why you can't say that about a woman. Jesse Waters, he says the generals will have their way with Kamala. Ro and the hoes are mad right now, and we're getting into it. This is where we're at right now.
If you're a man involved, if you're somebody who just goes along because you want to keep getting a check, then you allow that type of foolishness, that trash, to continue to be spewed and move forward. You know, we often highlight, you know, different media organizations and entities that are falling short. We did that earlier on the show. You know, often people will say, well, that's just Fox News. You know, that's just part of the culture. That's just the way they get down. You know, the question becomes, when do we reclaim our power? Even though probably the vast majority of folks are not regular Fox viewers, you are, in many instances, probably contributing.
You know, it's ironic to listen to a guy like this talk about reclaiming our power, but his conception of power is something you share with girls, and that's not how men see power. You know, the idea of the odd woman being in charge of a thing for whatever reason, it's not necessarily going to upset my entire worldview. At the same time, you know, just the notion that, yeah, she's a girl, I should share power with her. Bro, that's retarded.
And purchasing from the advertisers who support this type of stuff.
Oh, first of all, if you have cable, a significant part of your bill is going to Fox News.
Yeah. So we've got to find ways of actually addressing these things, because if we were just going to ask for their humanity and their character to move into the 21st century, it's probably not going to happen. You got to, unfortunately, hit people in the pockets, and it has to come in multiple ways, and it has to come from folks not just saying, well, you know, that's just too bad that they said something like that, to actually getting active and taking a look at who are the advertisers and stop giving them your money. And then, of course, having those conversations also with cable companies, which I know based upon a number of shows that we've talked.
You know, I just thought, I had a thought, you know, you just called him a low testosterone dude with a low testosterone nigga with extensions. And I was just thinking about that, Stefan. I bet you if he spent more time in the gym and less time in the pro-black bookstore, he wouldn't think any of these things. All of this shit would sound like lame and gay to him. If he would have just spent all the time he spent in that little pro-black book section, if he'd have just been hitting the treadmill, banging the speed bag, hitting the punching bag, you know what I mean? Doing some reps, doing, you know, the butterfly machine, the leg presses, like he wouldn't even, none of these thoughts would even germinate in his mind. These would be alien thoughts to him. The gym would just salt the earth for all of these woke thoughts. He wouldn't be able to have woke thoughts. So like just going to the gym and working out and getting in touch with like physical culture, it does kind of help to kill the wokeness. Not always. There's a lot of muscleheads who are woke too, but it does help.
Talked about here, you know, a number of times here on the show, that is not as always easy in dealing with some of the cable companies, but we have to raise our voices to what our sets of expectations are and what we will allow and what we won't. And until we do that, you're going to continue to have these types of folks saying these types of things and demeaning folks who come from our communities and others.
Well, absolutely. And it should be called out. It should be blasted. And again, executives at Fox News should have the guts to actually say something and do something about it. Unfortunately, they have yet to do so because guess what? They consider him to be one of their stars. And so they allow this kind of crap to go on. And of course, the other male and female hosts at Fox News and don't say anything. And so you'll never, you know, Harris Faulkner.
Oh shoot, my bad. Hold on, let me pull that back up. Hit the wrong button. Let me jump right back into this. Apologies.
The quote, last
memories of those who are watching. That's a cultural issue with Fox because they have a cultural problem with.
Well, absolutely. And it should be called out. It should be blasted. And again, executives at Fox News should have the guts to actually say something and do something about it, unfortunately.
Actually, they're about to wrap this segment up anyway. We didn't heard enough bitching from Roro and them. Let's jump to a little bit more professional, a little bit more well-established outfit over here. The TYT gang. TYT hoes. TYT hoes mad, y'all. And you know, I love me some Anna. I will not deny I do love. I have professed my raging boner for Anna. I love me some Anna. The same way Umar Johnson want him some Karine Jean-Pierre. That's how I want me some Anna. All the evil things he's gonna do to that Haitian bitch, that's what I want to do to Anna. And so we're gonna go over to TYT right now because Anna is tripping. Anna is tripping right now. We gotta go over there and listen to these motherfuckers. TYT hoes mad, y'all. Hit that like button, like, share, and subscribe. We jump into the next segment. TYT hoes mad.
Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me because I didn't get a single apology when my life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad.
What is her foreign policy? This is where the president has his most impact. You have a lot of room to maneuver there as commander in chief. We don't know who she is. We don't know what she believes. She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her. Right now,
Jesse Waters. Jesse, I don't like that.
Figuratively,
Take
again,
it back.
have their way with her. Control her.
Well, there you have Fox News host Jesse Waters tapping into what he does best, which is engage in misogynistic rhetoric. And if he is genuinely blind to what Kamala Harris supports in terms of foreign policy, all he needed to do was just listen to her DNC speech where she was insanely hawkish. In fact, here's a reminder of that.
As commander-in-chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world. I will make sure that we lead the world into the future on space and artificial intelligence, that America, not China, wins the competition for the 21st century, and that we strengthen, not abdicate, our global leadership.
I hear her saying the words like that's definitely her, and those are definitely words, and she's definitely the one saying the words, but I just don't believe her. You guys feel me on that? Like, yeah, you said it, and you know, I heard it, but you ain't gonna do none of that shit. I don't know why you lying. I don't know why all you people clapping. Y'all know none of these things are gonna happen with her. She's not gonna do any of these things. She can't tell you what a spaceship is like. She don't know how to build spaceships. She don't know how to talk to Chinese people. She knows how to wash the greens in the tub. She knows how to twerk.
As president, I will
She can dance black.
stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies. I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT.
Jesse Waters got so much pushback for what he said that he later came back to explain himself. We'll go to that video in just a moment. But Cenk, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I'm not even sure that he meant it originally, but when they challenged him on it, he did that smirk, like, haha, I meant it. So look, I'm conflicted on it because I hate it. It's dumb. It it belittles her. It creates a visual. So on the other hand, just keep giving us the election. Just keep giving it to us, right? Because yeah, I know there's like 7 women who watch Fox News, mainly like 89-year-old men. But those, however many women are watching, they're not gonna like that talk. Oh, you got to be vice president. It's probably because the generals are gangbanging you. Okay, all right, keep saying it. Keep saying it. Okay, and so
look,
like that's what they always do. And who's the moral cancer of the right wing? Their leader, Donald Trump. He's the one that insinuated that she slept her way to the top. He did it immediately. They if you're not listening to right-wing voters, they're a mixed bag, right? But right-wing leaders these days, if you listen to them in the media and in politics, no woman has ever earned anything, right? They're all.
Kamala didn't. It's easy to make that charge about no woman has ever earned anything according to the right wing. And I understand why you would say that, because that's the thing that you hear a lot, right? But when it comes to this woman in particular, when it comes to Kamala Harris in particular, Kamala Imhoff Harris, right? Why don't she rep her man's name? That's weird. I just thought about that. Don't you love him? Why don't you love him? You don't love his name? You don't want to, like, be a part of his thing? You just, I'm going to marry you, but I'm still me. Like, that's wild, actually. Now that I think about it. Anyway. She didn't earn her way into politics. That's the initial charge. Sweet Willie, you know, he gave her some of the Sweet Willie, and after she received the Sweet Willie, he helped her out. He was like, "Hey, listen, hire my girl right here. You know, she good people." And so from then, I guess she was the prosecutor for the state, and then she became like a senator at the state level. I mean, at the federal level, she went from the state prosecutor to a senator. And so she legit became a senator. She did that, all right? She won that. I'm not going to cast aspersions on that. I have no reason to do that yet. But she won that, right? But when it came to being the president, she didn't win any votes when she actually ran for president herself. She dropped out. She was the first out. She was like first in, first out. And she actually won 0 primary votes. So, and I think by presidential standards, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't claim to know everything about everything, but this would be a first, no? A woman to be at the highest level of presidential campaign politics. She's running on the Democrat Party ticket as the Democratic nominee for the presidency, and she has not won a single primary vote. Not a vote. Not one just not one nickel. Not nigga. Not none of you niggas. Not a vote. Not one. That's crazy. That's fucking wild when you think about it.
Not listen to right-wing voters. They're a mixed bag, right? But right-wing leaders these days, if you listen to them in the media and in politics, no woman has ever earned anything, right? They're all slap this, blah, 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 stupid, blah. They're gross. They're just freaking gross.
Yeah, I feel like some of that rhetoric lay dormant for a while, and now Kamala Harris being the nominee has made they can't help themselves. So
that's it right there. They can't help it because they believe it so much in their core. Like the Republicans could so easily win elections if they just took out the hate. Like if they said, "Hey, we should close the border, but we love Latinos and immigrants, but you got to come in the right way." That would be a super popular position, right?
Well, that's
but
What about we love Latinos? We will visit you in your home country. How about that? What's so wrong with that? Why do they have to come? You know, it's one thing to, be at peace with people who are here or whatever, been here for a long time. I'm not even going to pick those old fights, right? But why can't I love Latinos when I visit them in their home country? Why do I have to love Latinos as they pour across the border in waves and waves and waves of military-aged men? This is like an army without the rifles or the swords and the spears and shit. Why do I have to love Latinos like that? And why are you telling me how I have to love people? That's kind of gay, honestly. That is aggressively homosexual for you to tell me how I have to love people. That is like some predatory homosexual behavior. You can't tell me how I have to love people. Those are two things right there. Those are two levels of egregious acts right there. You're telling me I have to love people, and you're telling me how I have to love people. You're telling me who I have to love. That's 3 levels right there. You're telling me who I have to love. You're telling me I have to love them, and you're telling me exactly how to love them. That is so aggressively homosexual. I'm actually a little bit frightened, Jank. Jank, you make me afraid.
Can't help but go, they're rapists and criminals, and I hate every Latino that crosses the border, and they're all terrorists. Well, all right, then you're going to turn off Latinos, you idiots, but they can't help themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why I asked Charlie Kirk when we were at the DNC. Okay, look, you have your beliefs, that's fine. But a lot of political maneuvering and strategy has to do with putting your own emotional feelings aside and thinking about messaging and what you can do to communicate in a way that's appealing to a broader group of people. So I asked him, can you at least understand how, when it comes to optics, telling people in America that they don't have an investment in this country's future because they don't have kids is gonna turn people off. It's not the best political messaging.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to Jesse Waters in a second, but
it is somewhat true though. It is like a truism. And that's not to like cast any moral aspersions on people who are childless for whatever reason, but it does seem to raise an existential reality, right? Our offspring are our only attempt at immortality. That is the only practical way that your finite and frankly fragile human life can extend itself beyond the borders of its naturally prescribed time and space, right? The only way to project your human existence beyond your own borders of time and space is through your children. Do you know that Genghis Khan did so much humping? He did so much banging. And we're not even going to get into the morality of it. I'm sure it was all aggressive. I'm sure very little of it was romantic. But Genghis Khan did so much banging that, like, I don't know, like 1/4 of Asia is genetically descendant of Genghis Khan. That's living forever. I couldn't imagine that level of fucking. Like, I don't know if my dick is built like that. And listen, I did a lot of like banging in my day. I did a lot of fucking, but I'm not putting up Genghis Khan numbers. You know what I'm saying? I literally don't know if my dick is built like that. I think you need to have like a prehistoric, a pre-modern age, built for survival type of, like, I just don't know if I can be like, that's a lot of fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's living forever. That's living forever. That's what it takes to live forever. You gotta fuck that many women. You gotta like bang. You gotta ski. You gotta not just fuck. You gotta impregnate. I'm saying the wrong word. I'm not even trying to make it all about the sex, because you have to actually impregnate like 1 or 2 women a day, per day, for the rest of your days. That's the only way to live forever. And how do we get to this, MJ? Because we were talking about why childless people don't really have the same vision of the future as people who do have children, because children are immortality, and Genghis Khan lives forever because he did that much fucking. Right? We got here by purely logical, objective reasons. I don't even feel the need to say pause. It's just a fact of nature, right? None of you niggas is gonna Genghis Khan it. None of you niggas, you just can't. You don't have the physical stamina to Genghis Khan it. Is all I'm saying. We ain't built like that no more. We don't ride the steps bareback on a fucking on a stallion slaughtering peasants and shit. We ain't built like that no more. And so that's the only real practical method of immortality. And so, yes, having children does give you a completely different take on the future. Is all I'm saying. I did go kind of wild with the Genghis Khan shit, but it was all for a reason.
Look, this is a thing that's not getting enough attention. JD Vance said he believes in getting rid of no-fault divorces. So he said, even if you're in a violent marriage, at least you stay together for the kids, etc. What are you, nuts? You nuts? So now these idiots are coming in and telling us, now, okay, this is when you get married, this is when you get divorced, this is when you can have sex, this is who you can have sex with, this is when you can't have it, control your own body, etc. Now, if you're in an unhappy marriage, JD Vance is going to decide whether you get divorced or not, and he's going to forbid you from living your own life.
Sounds like freedom to me.
What part of this is freedom, right? That's because what they are is they're authoritarian Christian nationalists by nature, okay? Now, Trump might not be a Christian nationalist, he gets votes from them, but they're both authoritarian, and they when you get to categories that are not them, right? Like in this case, white men. Oh, they're like, women, none of them earned it, none of them earned it, none of the women earned it, none of the minorities earned it. It's all DEI, it's all affirmative action. Oh, no way, no way. Remember Sotomayor went to Princeton on the Supreme Court, and they're like, oh yeah, I wonder how she got it. No matter who it is, Barack Obama, Michelle.
See, the charge is that women are earning it, but it kind of, it says that, so the charge is that women are earning it, but then the counter charge is that if women are earning it, why do you need these programs? And then the charge against that is we need the programs because you're sexist, racist, and homophobic, yada, yada, yada. And now it creates this air of, well, if you're going to just let people in based on these identities that you think white people don't like, white men don't like, then aren't you almost by default lowering the standards because you're now just picking people based on these identities and not necessarily the best at it? And it's like, no, every minority we pick is always the best. I don't believe that every minority you pick is always the best. It's an improbability. Also an impossibility.
Obama, every time it's a black person, I wonder how they got in. Really? Barack Obama is about 10,000 times smarter than your dumbass leader, Donald Trump. I wonder how he got into Penn. Are you kidding me? His daddy got him, and that's why he hides his grades.
Yeah, look, there are a ton of very successful conservative women in the country. And so think about that. They are communicating to conservative women who are more likely to support them in elections. You didn't earn it. You probably engaged in sexual favors, and that's how you got to where you are.
They're so
yeah,
stupid.
It's just, look, I'm way, way, way past letting any of these guys get under my skin in any way, which is why, like, for the most part, I ignored Jesse Waters. This story kind of blew up, and that's why we're talking about it. But Jesse Waters, to me,
it'd be different if people just threw that at a woman arbitrarily for no good reason. Because even I would be like, you gotta have some evidence to be making, serious charges against people. It's one thing to joke about it or something, but if you're really gonna stick on that, then you need evidence, right? Like, so it's one thing to just throw that out there, blindly at some innocent woman who just literally is just trying to do a job, right? Even if I don't want her to do the job, that's not the attack I would take without cause, right? But then when you got Kamala Harris, it's kind of different. As professional as her record is, she still can't escape the charge of sleeping her way at least into the game. And then after that, well, your whole period, your whole phase stays on your record. It goes on your permanent record. Isn't that what they told us in middle school and shit? This goes on your permanent record. So does your whole phase, ladies.
it just reeks of, please pay attention to me.
Yeah.
And I find him boring, and I will not allow him to get under my skin, right? Like, I'm not gonna let him determine how I view myself and value myself.
Well, that's definitely right, but we're still allowed to make fun of him and hate him and all that stuff. So, but I'll tell you real quick, in football, there was a guy named Dirty Waters, and I hate to compare Jesse Waters to him because he was a good football player, but I think the same thing happened.
Dirty Waters? Hey, Dirty folks, you know this guy?
And this was my theory of Dirty Waters a million years ago, which is that once he got known for dirty hits, he did more of them because he liked the attention. He liked being Dirty Waters. And Jesse Waters is almost the same exact way. Now that he's known as like a dirty pervert and like always making inappropriate comments, he gets off on it.
Yeah.
So he wants to do more and more. So he's known as Jesse Dirty Waters, and he goes home and gets,
Although if
enjoys it.
Jesse Waters is just trying to reach supreme whiteness. Everyone has to pick a goal to aim for something.
if JD Vance had his way and was able to outlaw no-fault divorces, I mean, it would impact someone like Jesse Waters, who left his wife and family in order to enter a new marriage with a producer he was cheating on his wife with.
Yeah, and it was his fault. But still, I don't know if that's allowed or not allowed, or if his wife would have to be stuck with this loser for the rest of her life. I mean, what an insane policy. By the way, Donald Trump's been divorced 3 times. So
why is it okay to talk about Jesse Waters' sexual marital history? It's okay to talk about Trump's sexual marital history, but it's not okay to talk about Kamala's sexual marital history, right? She slept her way into the game. She's allegedly black. She ain't got no black kids. She never bothered to have children of her own. Like, why are these things off limits, but it's okay to talk about other people's sexual and marital histories? Serious question.
What are you gonna, or twice? It's had 3 wives. So what are you gonna do? Does he have to go to the original wife? Oh, he can't, because he buried her in his golf course for a tax break.
Yeesh. Okay, so Jesse Waters felt the need to explain himself after getting a lot of backlash. Let's hear what he had to say.
There's been some attention to comments I made on the show yesterday about VP Harris. People are misconstruing my comments to mean something inappropriate. I wasn't suggesting anything of a sexual nature. I was expressing my opinion that Vice President Harris's current leadership style could be an issue if elected.
Okay.
Yeah. And by the way, that has nothing to do with Kamala Harris. And you know who gets treated roughly and hence does whatever the generals want? Almost every president, right? So they come in there and they're like, oh, sir, if you leave Iraq or Afghanistan, that'll be just terrible. Like, I'm reading more about H.R. McMaster, who was the national security advisor for Trump, who's now speaking out against Trump. He's like the worst guy in the world. So like, yeah.
The thing is, nobody really believes that Kamala Harris is a knowledgeable, serious person. And she doesn't even appear to have like a forceful personality, because she cackles and that cackle is not a forceful thing. And the media wants to project these things onto her, but obviously people aren't really going for it.
McMaster or Trump?
McMaster. Okay.
Yeah, McMaster sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he's saying things that are true about Trump. Okay, but both things can be true. They could both suck, right? And McMaster's like, oh, I can't believe that Trump was manipulated into leaving Afghanistan. No, you were trying to manipulate him into staying in Afghanistan.
And it didn't work, and that's why he's salty about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Look, please don't get mad at me, and please understand where I'm coming from. But the one thing that I will say about Trump that I enjoyed was the fact that he would like unman all of these like gross military war hawks, like generals, and like he didn't let them manipulate him when it came to things like pulling out of Afghanistan. And he does deserve some credit for that.
That's a very interesting word to use, Anna. You like the idea of men being unmanned? What an odd thing to say, Anna. Why would the idea of men being unmanned appeal to you? You know, between Jenk's aggressive homosexual urges and Anna wanting to see men unmanned, I'm really glad I stopped watching TYT years and years ago. TYT was probably the first political channel on YouTube that I kind of took note of and I subscribed to, whatever. And then I got, woke I got unwoke and red pilled and all that. But wow, unmanned. It's a hell of a thing to say, woman.
No, he did 2 very good things, but the rest were all pro-war, pro-generals and stuff. So he did started the pullout from Afghanistan, which of course then he criticizes Biden for. The long story. And then the second thing was after the Soleimani strike, our guys wanted to hit Iran again, and he said no, and he deserves a lot of credit for that one. but everything else he did, including killing Soleimani, moving our embassy in Israel, doing nonstop drone strikes, etc., all provocative. The bombing of Syria, all provocative, trying to start a bigger war in the Middle East. I don't know that he was trying to start it, but the generals were trying to start it, and he went along with everything but two things.
Yeah, you're right about that. And when it came to the drone strikes, Trump expanded the drone strikes so much that the White House stopped reporting on it. Because the State Department would put out a report about the drone strikes. They just stopped reporting on it altogether.
Yeah, look, man, just give me one president who is both smart and courageous. And just, I would grill those generals so hard on what their actual policies are, what their plans are, not policies, because they're always like, oh, if we just stay a little longer, if we just start one more war in the Middle East. Yeah, really, play that one out for me. How does it end?
Yeah.
So is Kamala supposed to be a strong leader or not? I don't understand what you're saying. She's going to be a strong, peaceful leader? She's going to build an army and not attack nothing? I don't know what you mean by these words. Anyway, did you guys know that TYT, they basically like took all their woke niggas and segregated the network, and so now they got all the woke niggas on like their own wing on the network? Because I remember back in the day, TYT, like Jank used to have this one big black dude with dreads, and they would talk and they would hang out, and then they kind of like, hey nigga, you go over there and talk on your own thing. I don't want to talk to you no more. And now they got this other black guy, and he's kind of like got a big channel with TYT, but it's still like segregated woke niggas. You ever seen the segregated woke niggas over there? It's crazy. TYT, they segregated the woke niggas and gave them their own TYT wing.
I too believe give people what they want, free speech. I actually believe in that. I guess I just get disgusted with the low bar set for some. You have a national TV show, they pay you millions of dollars, and you carry on like a butthead. I'm sorry, Dina, that's not a legal term, but he's a butthead, okay? Generals will have their way with Kamala Harris. Let's give you Jesse Waters' full comments.
This is where the president has his most impact. You have a lot of room to maneuver there as commander-in-chief. We don't know who she is. We don't know what she believes. She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her. Right now,
Jesse Waters. Jesse, I don't like that.
Figuratively,
Take
again,
it back.
have their way with her, control her, not in a sexual way.
Oh, we got another one, y'all. We got another one.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me because I didn't get a single apology when my life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
You see, and then it's like the smarmy, sophomoric frat boy, so he knows exactly what he said. I think he's chosen to lack intelligence and a worldview on many issues. I think it's a choice to be this ignorant because it's just this lowest common denominator. If I just keep it here, if the bar is so low and all I have to do is tell these, Beavis and Butthead jokes, then I don't really have to be prepared for my position. And that to me is Jesse Waters.
And again, the assumption here is that men assuming a woman's greatness, assuming her competence, assuming all of her divine potentiality is enlightened, right? You're enlightened if you just assume that women are awesome. You're enlightened if you just assume that this woman knows what she's gonna do. She knows everything. She's got it. Girl power this shit right up.
And for Judge Jeanine to, come on, Jesse. Okay. They're guilty of just as much. It reeks at that table of privilege and disgustingness.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid.
Stop doing commercials.
I should tell you, Waters sort of offered an apology. Look at this.
That would be great. You know, like your sister does something and you're like speaking on behalf of the Waters family. I'm sure my mother was probably go on MSNBC tonight and said, my son, Jesse Waters, made a joke about Kamala Harris being manhandled by generals in the Situation Room. And he has desecrated the memory of our grandfather. And it's disgusting. I could see my mom doing that. And I wish I had a political dynasty so I could take shots as well.
We appreciate that. When he first started the program, and only because I've seen the clips, I wasn't there day one, he had his mother on. Seemed like a reasonable, decent, respectful lady.
Oh, please tell me you're not about to talk about his mama. Please tell me you're not going to talk about that white boy mama.
I'm not going to blame her. That her son he's a grown-up now. Well, here's another name. He's of the age of grown-ups. I'll put it to you like that. But nothing to be proud of here. Now, if you were to ask Kellyanne Conway, she would say the Harris campaign, they're the true sexists. There's only Kellyanne Conway.
That was low-key a shot at his mama, but it was really low-key, so it went under the radar.
Ken, listen.
Well, there's no question that they don't trust Kamala Harris enough to speak regularly. This is amazing to me. They're so excited about a woman, and the sexists and misogynists at her campaign aren't allowing the woman to travel alone or speak on her own extemporaneously to members of the media. Have a town hall. Don't be afraid to take questions. They can make it as friendly as the pep rally that was the Democratic Convention if they want to. But free Kamala already. Let her out. Let us hear from her.
She is the queen of alternative facts. She did coin the phrase, right? Alternative facts. Woman, powerful woman, saying that Kamala Harris is not allowed to speak freely. Doesn't seem to be true. I mean, it might be campaign strategy. I don't know. I mean, listen, this is a very strange, unprecedented election with a sprint to the finish line. Whatever both sides are doing strategically, let them have at it. We, the people, are suffering greatly because of people like Kelly and Conway and disinformation, which of course is different than misinformation. I just think I want to sometimes hold my nose, Dana, because I cannot tolerate the smell anymore. I just can't take it. What say you?
I mean, Jesse Waters.
Oh, God, it's a black girl and a white girl. I didn't see the white girl coming. I got to tell you, the white girl threw me off here. The white woman surprised me just now.
A white woman
doesn't have a valid criticism of Kamala Harris. I mean, she came across at the convention clearly capable, powerful, so qualified. I mean, she's a prosecutor, had been in the courtroom with people much scarier than the generals. So it may not have been sexual, but it was certainly sexist. And when you have somebody as extreme as Jeanine Pirro standing up and saying what you said was wrong, it's bad.
Good point. I mean, it's a great point. When Judge Jeanine calls you out for being, way over the line, maybe we do need to listen. Okay. And again, I'm not blaming Jesse Waters' mother. He has chosen this path and perhaps believes in it. The money, perhaps.
Yo, why you keep talking about this man's mother? Why you keep talking about my mother? Stop talking about my mother. This is why you get into fights in school, right? Stop talking about my mother like that.
This is a great incentive for him to keep blinders on. But I'm just so tired of it. And I sometimes do wonder, and it's none of my business, Tina, how do these people, because then they talk about that they're going to church and they're going to the farmer's market and they're doing familial things and they're, we all have communities, and I'm not suggesting that your worth is tied to what others in your community think about you. But I don't believe that you have to worry about whether your neighbors look down on you with the kind of work you're doing. I mean, maybe I should ask who your neighbors are first, but am I wrong to wonder about what life is like? Or do people like that, do you think they just stay in a bubble of like-minded people so that protects them in a way?
They stay in a bubble, and it becomes like anything. They only care about the clicks, the power, the ratings. Whether or not he honestly believes any of that, or he's just gotten addicted to what are his ratings the night before. Yeah, what kind of scandalous thing can I say tonight? It does such a disservice to our country. And also, it's going to help Trump lose the election because, hello, like half of us are women here, and none of us like hearing something like that. Again, even Jeanine Pirro didn't like hearing something like that. Yeah. So it was gross. It was gross. And and 2024, we're still here fighting for every right we can, even the ability to sit in a conference room with men. Basically, that's what he's saying.
General.
All right, this is what I want to do. I want to end this stream right about here. But I do want to have a panel at the same time. And so what we are going to do is chop this bad boy up. I am actually right now, because I just started this like 25 seconds ago. What we're going to do is chop this up. We're going to open up the panel on a brand new stream. So I am actually in the process of firing up a new stream. I'm doing all the background work right now. Make sure I get over to my Rumble. We're gonna end this one on Rumble right now. So all the people listening on Rumble, this is the end of the show. We'll be right back with a panel. Let me end that right now. And so we are still live on YouTube. And what I'm going to do is set up a panel. And I want to have a particular discussion. I want to have a particular discussion on this panel. And the idea is this. Black men's thoughts on female leadership. Now, obviously, I'm not going to leave it to only black men. I know we have a couple white guys who want to take the link here and there. Feel free. But that's what we're going to do in about 5 minutes from now. I'm still pressing all the buttons, making sure I got everything set up in the background, doing all the things. And so I'm going to drop the link to this panel stream in just a few short minutes here. Bam, that's set up. Okay, so the Rumble stream is built up. We're going to go live on Rumble. Now let's open this thing up on YouTube. On StreamYards. And set up the YouTube stream, and then we're going to switch everyone over. What are you guys talking about in the chat? How much surgery has this Greek woman had? Oh, shit. You guys are terrible. You guys are awful. I don't know why you guys are so mean in the chat. But I'm putting the stream up together. I'm putting the stream together right now. I need to do that. Edit that. Add a destination. Put the StreamYard link in the description. Bam. All right, so this is what we gonna do. Niggas always pressing buttons. Shut up. I know what I'm doing. I'm not just pressing random buttons, but there's a lot of buttons to press. When you try to multitask, and when you got like 2 concurrent black jobs and shit, it revolves. It requires button pressing, sir. That's just the way it is, man. I can't fix that for you. This nigga David, he been real uppity in my chat lately. I noticed that about you, bro. Really, really, really uppity. I don't know what's going on with you, man. I'm not saying you have to change. I'm just saying I've noticed the change in you. All right, so we got that one fired up. We are gonna let me drop the link to the new panel. All right, we're gonna drop the link to the new panel. We are gonna end this show because Jesse Waters, he said some things, and I wanna cap this one right here. Yo, shut up, dirty folks. You stupid. Now, I wanna cap this show right here, and we're gonna come back with a panel on Black men's thoughts on Black female leadership. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you guys for being here. We're gonna wrap this show up. Gonna can it, bag it, and send it off to the distributors. You guys take care. We'll be right back. Click the link to the next show.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.